Okay, so last night for homework, there was a couple of problems that you all had to complete from our assignment that we were working on yesterday in class. Now, my hope, everybody, was that we were going to move faster than we did yesterday on the math that we did in class. Unfortunately, we moved a little bit slower than I had expected, and so therefore, we had to kind of do math for homework last night that I expected us to actually finish in class yesterday. So, I'm telling you this because since we are at chapter 1 right now, we have to move quicker. And I don't want to move fast to the point where I confuse you, but we definitely have to pick up the pace and move faster through these slides than we did yesterday, all right? Anybody that doesn't have their desktop cleared off, please do so. Like, get your shields down, because that way I can see everybody's faces. You need to have your homework out from last night. Get something that you can check this thing with. Now, today, put your hands down. No, there's no time for questions. We've got to be a listener right now. Today, we are going to simply check to see how you did on last night's problems. And the homework that you had to complete last night came from your Google Slides. Now, that's not normal. Normally, it wouldn't come from there. So I want to take a minute to kind of show you something, because I did have a couple of parents that were a little bit confused as to who was supposed to be doing this work. So I want you to take a minute. I'm in 5M math class, right? And I have kind of this section in the classwork spot that says NTI lessons online. Most of the time when you see something in there, that is for the kids who are choosing to do school from home. So your classmate is Carson, but there are other classmates in the other classrooms who have chosen to do school that way. Those kids need a chance to learn math the way you're learning math right now. So what we do is we record our lessons so that those kids can hear them. But then when the lesson is finished, we put the lesson out here so that somebody like Carson can go to his Google Classroom and he can find the video of what's being recorded. So yesterday, when we finished that activity, underneath here was where I put yesterday's activity. And I actually added some directions in there. And this is where, as fifth graders, we have to get better at reading directions, because so many of you all jump past that. Instead of reading what's here, you just go right to the stuff. And then you get to the stuff and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Well, if you would have read the directions first, then you wouldn't have had a problem knowing what you were supposed to do. So it says right here, complete practice problem slides 3 and 4 on the attached PowerPoint. So I gave you the whole PowerPoint. I gave it to you right here. And if you notice, that whole PowerPoint is actually, the whole thing is actually there, like all the slides. The stuff that we're gonna get to in chapter 1 is all there for you. Did any of you already notice that?
Yes.
But I didn't want you to do anything with it. The reason I'm giving it to you is because sometimes you're at home and you might be like trying to like remember what we did in class, or maybe you got confused on something we did in class. Well, now you can be at home and you can go to your Google Classroom and you can pull up the PowerPoint that the teacher used to teach it. Now you can pull that up at home and you can use it for practice. So instead of having to like go to mom and dad and say, Mom, I don't understand how to do this. We did it in school today, but I'm still kind of confused. That's really hard for moms and dads to have to help when they aren't at school here with you. So now you can go to your Google Classroom and you can have access to everything that I've given you. So you can go out there, you can look at the slides again, you can check your notes, and hopefully, if you are ever confused, this will help you to find the answers you're searching for, okay? The other thing that I put out there, especially for our at-home school kids, is the videos that we do when we have class. So we're doing a video right now. Every time we're having class, we're videoing it because I want Carson to feel like he's here. And the only way he can feel that way is if every time we have a class together, we record our class And then when it's over, we put that out there for him to watch from home. Okay? So do you have to turn anything in here? No. You all get to come to school. You all get to turn things into me as a person because I see you every day. So yesterday, your assignment, the directions say, those in class, return your problems in your math notebook. So today, you should have your answers in your math notebook because that's what the directions said. But then it also says NTI kids, they're going to send it to me in an email because they don't come to school. I don't see him. So there's no way I'm going to get his work unless he sends it to me. And so that's what he's going to do. You don't have to do that because I see you. Now, what if it's a day that the school says, oh, tomorrow we're going to have an NTI day? Then do you have to turn it into me through that? Yes, because I won't see you. But if we're going to see each other, you're going to do it that way. Okay, so I just wanted to take a minute and kind of share with you like what that is. Everybody understand that NTI has a name, that's like an abbreviation, but it stands for non-traditional instruction, which basically kind of means school in a different way. So those kids are still doing school, they're just doing it from a different way. You're doing school kind of the normal way, and so stuff in here is more for them, not you. And I sent mom and dad an email to everybody, just to make sure everybody understands that this stuff out there, sometimes it'll be for you, like last night, but you don't turn it in there, you bring it back to school. Okay, all right, so let's get back to where we left off yesterday. So the last time we were together, we were learning about place value. We were talking about learning how to know the value of a number in a certain place. And so now we're going to see how well you understood it. Okay. So slide 3 had you doing this activity where you had to look at a place and tell me the value of that place if it was 10 times a number. Now that sounded more confusing than actually what it was. So we did one as an example together in class. So let's just kind of take a minute and kind of play with this. So the example was hundreds, right? That was the place that we were playing with. So we said some of us in here can look at that place and we can come up with the answer just like that, no problems. But others of us may have to turn this into a number. What does the word hundreds look like as a number? What's it look like, Emily?
2 zeros.
How many?
2 zeros.
2 zeros. Just 2 zeros?
No, 1.
Yeah. And then 2 zeros. That's what 100 looks like as a number, okay? But to find what it is when it's 10 times that place, I've got to multiply it by 10. Now remember, I don't have to take a long way to get there. I don't have to do 100 times 10 and work that big problem out. But actually what I can do is just multiply the 2 numbers in the front. So everybody, what is 1 times 1? 1. And then count how many zeros I have in my problem. How many do I have in my problem, Tessa?
3.
So how many do I need in my answer?
3.
Perfect. So now I see this number, Tessa. What is that number?
1,000.
That number is 1,000. So to complete my answer, I have to turn it back into a name. It started as a name, so it has to end as a name. So the number here as a name is what place, Tessa?
Thousands.
Perfect. Thousands place. So that's what I was looking for you to do last night for your homework. Some of you may have accidentally only showed it as a number, and if you did, that's okay. But just know that now I want you to, if the directions say, give the name of the place, it wants like the tens or the hundreds or the thousands or the 10,000s. It wants that information. If it asks for the value, that's when it's asking for the number, okay? So let's look at the ones you had to do. We finished number 1 together, didn't we?
Yes.
What about number 2? Did we finish number 2 together?
Yeah.
Okay, so we should have picked up with number 3,
No.
or we did number 3 together.
No, we did number 3, we did number 4 together, we didn't do
Oh, okay, that was weird. We kind of jumped around, right? So let's do number 3 together. So for number 3, the place was, what was it, 100 million? Is that what it was? Okay, so I'm going to abbreviate because these are long words. So 100 million. Let's turn this into a number. Now, some of you don't have to do this. Some of you are like, oh, Ms. Lennar, you know how to do this. Do I have to write all that out? No. If you can get the right answer without doing all this extra work, then don't do the extra work. But I'm showing the extra work in case some of you need it. 100 million as a number looks like this. It's a big number, right? If I take that thing and I multiply it by 10, it's going to give me a different place. What's my answer going to look like? Allie, what's it going to look like?
My answer, the answer is going to look like, one,
And
number 1, and then billion, like spelling.
how many zeros will it have?
It will
Count them. Count them right here.
1,
9. It's going to have 9 zeros behind it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's a lot. So now, commas are important, so I got to figure out where they go. So what's the rule for commas? How many spots do I jump, Allie?
1, 2, 3.
Good girl. Jump 3 spots. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. So that's what that looks like as a number. But now we got to put it back to a name. So what's the name of the place, Allie?
1 billion.
Now, she said 1 billion. Let's just say billions. So let's get away from saying 1 because what if it's a different number that's sitting there and it's not a 1? We don't want to say it. Yeah, so the place is actually called the billions place.
I wrote 1 billion.
If you wrote 1 billion, that's okay. Just kind of put a little line through with 1 so you train your brain not to put that 1 in front.
I didn't put, I didn't put the word on it, I just put the number.
So you just wrote like that big giant number?
Yep.
Okay, but remember, if the problem started as a word, it needs to end as a word. Okay, so now you know. Just kind of write it in there so that in case you don't have the correct answer, write what the correct answer was needing. So that if you're ever using your notes to study or get ready for a quiz or a test, you're studying the right answers, not the wrong answers. Okay? All right, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 now, right? Okay. We need to do number 5.
We did number 4.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no, we didn't, sorry.
So 100 millions. We don't need to work this one out. What's 100 millions? Sorry, let me go back because I just lost my spot. 100 millions, or 100,000, not bad. 100,000, number 5. What's it going to look like if it's 10 times the 100,000's place? Max. Million, perfect. So your answer for number 5 should be millions. How do we do on those? Pretty good? All right, let's move to slide 4. Slide 4 now has us doing the stuff that we did at the start of class yesterday, where we had to look at a number and we had to give 2 answers. Again, did you read the directions? The directions said to do 2 things. It said write the name of the place and then name its value. So you do 2 answers for each one. All right, so let's try number 1. First off, who wants to give that number a shot of how to say its name? Raven, how would I say that number?
1,476,807,100.
Perfect. What's the place of the 5?
Billion.
That's the billion. So that's the first answer you need for number 5. Billions place. What's its value?
5 billion.
5 billion. Perfect. He gets it. Who wants to try number 2? Tessa, did you have a question?
I accidentally put 5 billion twice.
Oh, that's okay. Just write what it should be. Remember, today as a homework assignment, most of your homework assignments, boys and girls, are going to be participation grades, which means I just want to see that you did it. If everybody did their homework, then everybody gets a free 100 in the grade book from me for doing your job. Now, sometimes I might let you turn it in, so I haven't come around yet to look at all of yours, but please do this in the future. If you put your work today, like he didn't, yeah, he did his work on a clean piece of paper. But like in the other classes, I had kids do their work on the page that they had their notes on. Let's not do that. So, and here's why. It's okay if you did today, but here's why. Sometimes you might come to school and I might go, oh, today Miss Malone is going to collect your homework. So I want you to tear it out of your notebook. Well, if you put your work on your notes page, now you just tore your notes out of your book, which is never a good thing. So always make sure when you do the homework, you always put it on a clean sheet of paper in case I tear it out and I take it, okay? But today, everybody has done their job, and so I believe, right? Shane was absent.
I forgot to last night.
Nope, that's an excuse. I love you, but that's an excuse, okay? So that's kind of, we had these conversations in the other classes, right? We've got to make sure that just because our night got busy, just because we had baseball practice, or we had football practice, or whatever it was that we had, you only had 8 problems to do. And you had been in class yesterday to get things finished. So if you didn't get those done, there's no excuse. Okay? So for every day that it's not here, it's 10 points. So that's due to me tomorrow. Everybody that did it and completed it today gets 100 points. If you didn't do it and you didn't complete it, you don't get those 100 points. Now the best I can give you 90. And if it doesn't show up tomorrow, then it drops 10 more points and it becomes an 80. And then if it doesn't come back in, it drops 10 more. So your grade is dropping because of an excuse. Don't do that. Okay? And if those become a problem, this becomes something that keeps happening, then you don't get those Chromebooks. Because that tells me that during time when you should have been doing work, you were goofing on your Chromebook. Okay? All right, everybody else, I see. The other thing is, I hate to say it, but remember how we talk about how you all can earn points at the class for Barbies? Well, everybody's got to do their homework to earn a point. So when somebody forgets, you let the whole team down. Okay? So make sure you do your job. All right, let's try number 2. Number 2, what's the place that 2 is sitting in? Mason. Yes, go. What's the name of the place, Sophia?
Yeah, 10 million.
It's the 10 millionth place. Perfect. What's its value?
20 million.
Excellent, 20 million. Let's move to number 3. What's the place? Now, Shane didn't do this because he was sick yesterday or he was asked to get sick. But Shane, have you caught on to where we're at? All right, Shane, so tell me, what's the place that 0 is in? Close. We're going to start at the smallest. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Million, very good. This is the million place. Now, what's its value? What's it worth? But don't say nothing, say 0. 0 is what's 0. That's what it's worth. You could have put 0 millions. You could have. Well, don't put millions because it's not worth millions. Like if I said, hey Max, you won the lottery, and you were like, how much did I win it? I said 0 millions. You won nothing. But if I said you won millions, that would be a lot, right? So if we're looking for the value, 0 means 0. Doesn't mean nothing, but it means 0. Okay? That one was a little tricky. All right. Yes. That's fine. Any other questions? No? Ready for the next one? Okay, what about number 4? Hallie wants to try it. Now, don't remember, just don't say 1, just say thousands. Thousands place, what's its value? 9,000, very good. 9,000. So the 9 is in the thousands place. Its value, because I have 9 of them, is 9,000. Okay. Last one, number 5. Rory wants to give it a shot. All right, this is the biggest one, Rory. 8 is in what place? 10 billions place. Beautiful. What's its value? 80 billion.
Holy moly.
That's a big number,
That's a lot of money.
right? How'd we do? Pretty good? Okay. All right. Now, because this is not where I wanted to get, remember yesterday, friends, I wanted us to get further along. Yesterday, I thought we would finish this slide, and then get to here. But we didn't. We didn't make it that far because we had to move a little bit slower. And that's okay, because that was like our first class day together. But we've got to work on moving faster. So since your schedule is posted for you, let's try to make sure that on math day, whatever time math is supposed to start, our desktops are ready to go. Our math books out, our our brain is on, and we're ready to rock. Okay? Because if our Chromebooks are out and our shields are out, then we have to take time to get rid of all that stuff before we can actually get started, and we keep losing time of our class. And then we just miss out on getting things. So tonight, a little bit of a luck, you don't have any math homework tonight. Okay. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays were supposed to be your religion days. So really today is supposed to be a religion day, but we had to check that math homework first. And because it's a special day, we get to hang out with Carson for a little bit. We don't really get a lot of time to get into our religion yet, but we do have 4 minutes studying to get your religion was Catholic. If she has one more without putting on her. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a quick minute and I'm going to kind of tell you what religion class is going to kind of feel like.